Right, so the first season of Daredevil Born Again is finally over, and it has completely split the fan base in half. Some people are really happy that these characters we love have come back, and that we get this show that we've all fought for. We finally get it back. And there are definitely aspects of the show that are even improved upon in this one. For example, the violence is so graphic, and in this final episode, I don't know if I can even show you this, but a head gets absolutely crushed, like a melon. But other people, and me included, would argue that the story isn't anywhere near as cohesive and as interesting as the original 3 seasons of the show. In fact, I'd argue that the story in this show is bad. And you could even say it cheapens the original, especially the ending of season 3. Just feels so dull and cheap now because of this new season. It's been completely ruined. I beat you! I felt like episode 8 was written by a completely different crew, and when I found out it was, everything made sense. Honestly, episode 8 is so good compared to the first 7 episodes of the show. It's like getting whiplash. The tone is just completely different. But yeah, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the show, and remember to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate anyone who does that. But we're gonna get into the real meat and potatoes of Daredevil Born Again. So as I said, I'm not too keen on the storyline in this show, but where it mainly sort of pulls around is Foggy's death in the first episode. Now, Foggy's death is really important. It's the reason that Matt Murdock retires Daredevil. It's the reason that Karen leaves the story, and the reason for a lot of changes, and it kind of makes sense. It makes sense that Matt would have this big change in his life because of this massive event. However, some of the important implications of Foggy's death, basically it's revealed that he had a hit put out on him because of this Red Hook thing. But that's only revealed in the last 2 episodes is my issue. And Red Hook is mentioned throughout the show, but this storyline doesn't feel like it runs throughout the season. You know, in the original show we had Karen investigate Union Allied, and it was an ongoing conspiracy that led its way through season 1. Here, the storyline just leaves for about 7 episodes, and comes back. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they use this opportunity to sort of bring in new comic book characters. I mean, this is the strength of Marvel. The sort of cameos, and people complain about them, but come on, who wouldn't want to see Muse? Muse is a really cool, interesting character. The issue is, he only gets 2 episodes to really showcase himself in this show, and he doesn't impress that much. I mean, we see him get absolutely flattened by Matt twice, and capped by Heather, and he's only just there in the first place to give Matt a reason to return to being Daredevil. So Muse's character, completely disrespected and written poorly. I would say the exact same thing about White Tiger. You know, could have been a really interesting character, and by the way, rest in peace to the actor. I believe he died, and that's really unfortunate. He did a good job in his role, but the writing for his character, really flawed in my opinion. We see him in this trial, and it's just so unengaging compared to the trial of Frank Castle in season 2 of the original show.
And I did it because I liked it. Hell, I loved it.
They use it as this opportunity to argue this debate of, oh, do we need vigilantes? And it just doesn't feel like a real debate we'd have in society. It doesn't feel relatable. It's not an interesting debate. Again, what was interesting about the Frank Castle debate was this idea of, is he a superhero? That's the whole idea of the Punisher. Here, we don't really learn anything about the White Tiger or what he does. We just know that he's Hispanic of some sort. And yeah, it's not engaging. The writing, and particularly the writing of characters in this show, is nowhere near good enough. It is really poor, especially when you compare it to the original show. The original show had so many great characters that I care about. Even Agent Nadeem, Elektra, Foggy, Stick, even Wesley and Yorick. There's so many great characters that, with limited screen time, made you interested in them and added to the story. Here, we have a whole new roster of side characters, and I can't even be bothered to speak about them because they're just so boring. None of them have any development at all, apart from Heather, who I don't even see why Matt is dating her, to be honest. I mean, she's got a few good things about her, like her hair, for example. Nice hair. But apart from that, we don't really see them together, apart from when they argue. Like Tony Soprano and his wife.
It says with pulp.
You like it with pulp.
not this much. I like the one that says Shumpo.
The task force, you know, the big bad guys that they introduced in this season, they're cringe. They just are. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Also, just to add into post, because I didn't mention it at all, but obviously I really loved the Punisher scenes. Those can not be understated. Punisher being this show and John Bernthal being Punisher really improved it. And seeing him interact with Matt Murdock, a lot of the scenes were just funny. Him back with Karen, it was all great to see. And how, as a fan of the original show, how can you not love that sort of thing? So I do want to add that in because, you know, I'm criticising this show a lot, but there are positives in it. BB Yorick. Jesus Christ. Now, I have nothing against her character. I think she is underutilised, if anything. Having a reporter in the show is something that could be really important, especially when a lot of it is about how Fisk is trying to manipulate the media. And they do use her to some extent, but nowhere near enough. And by the way, what is up with these videos that she posts? Why are they in like this square aspect ratio? Is it supposed to be shown on a TV from the 80s? Like, if you think of anything, you'd make it a phone aspect ratio or something, but no, we just get this weird sort of square. So I do want to talk about Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, Daredevil and the Kingpin, because they are two characters in the show that are already established and that we're already familiar with, especially these interpretations of them. We already know what to expect. So Matt's story throughout the season is a little wasted, in my opinion. Obviously, he retires being Daredevil and is born again, but in my opinion, it's not done very well. I mean, I know he becomes Daredevil seemingly out of boredom and because he wants to save people again, but like, is it not a bit deeper than that? I mean, in the first 3 seasons of this show, he wrestles with being the devil quite a lot, and you see this storyline where he battles with his Catholicism, which is barely mentioned in this show. You know, the way he was raised, debates about whether what he's doing is putting his friends in danger, and ultimately this is why he quits being Daredevil. But the reason for him coming back, it's not fleshed out enough in my opinion. I mean, I can't even pinpoint the moment where he's back. He just sort of feels like he has to because of Wilson Fisk, which is, I guess, it makes sense. But at the same time, is it compelling? Is this the sort of hero that Matt Murdock is? I don't know, I just don't find it engaging enough, and I think there's a better story for him there. In Christ, Wilson Fisk. I mean, he is a great character in the original show, especially when he was a boy.
When I was a boy.
And I don't necessarily mind the original plan for him in this show either. Obviously, he becomes the mayor. I think we could have seen a bit more about him actually working to become the mayor. Yeah, I said this in my last video about Daredevil, but he just becomes, he basically says he's running for the mayor and then becomes the mayor instantly. And for me, that's not how you should do a storyline. It should have been the first season's him running. We see all these bad things he does to become mayor. Maybe he kills a political opponent. I don't know. Just an idea. In this season, he just says, I want to be the mayor, and he becomes the mayor. And this, of course, gives him infinite power. I mean, I don't know what mayor has the power to set a 8 PM curfew and a task force which, you know, are full of people that murder people. I don't know how it works in America, but at least here in Britain, you need a bit more power to be able to do that sort of thing. Are there not, like, political influences? And we're not even talking about the whole world, which is filled with superheroes, by the way. Where's Spider-Man? Where is Spider-Man? But outside of that, where is the president in all this? I mean, to be honest, the president has actually been shot out more than Wilson Fisk, so... And one thing that doesn't make sense about his character, that in the original show, the characters he has around him, people like Wesley that I mentioned earlier, you know, they worship him a bit, but they're not yes men. This Daniel character, Tony Soprano's son, he is a complete yes man. He is Tony Soprano's son, but he is also a yes man. Look at that.
How about that?
So I have been critical about this show, but look, I really did like episode 8, and I think going forward, there's a lot of hope for the show. It can definitely get better. If we get some more action with the Punisher, for example, maybe even a cameo from Spider-Man, please, please, please. The show can improve. Season 1, as it is, I have to be fully honest, I liked parts of it, but I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't. But yeah, let me know what you think, leave a comment, remember to like the video, and again, I'd respond to a few comments. I'm sure a lot of people did like the show, and I'm not hating on your opinion. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I just can't ignore some of the aspects of this show that I don't like, especially when I've been rewatching the original show, the first 3 seasons. Those seasons of the show, they're so good, and this, it doesn't hold a candle to it. It doesn't at all. But yeah, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and for now, bye bye.